Well, time for a little go juice here. Putting a tiger in my tank. Anybody remember that slogan back in the day? Well, I guess that's what I'm doing. This is 93 octane with 10% or up to 10% ethanol. So we're on our way. Almost. You're scooting down Highway 72, that's Tennessee Highway 72, and waiting for a turnoff to get on to 322, which is kind of a favorite road of mine. I think you'll see why when we get there. Very pleasant. Great road to ride on. Lots of good scenery, farm country, cows, even one junkyard. I guess that's what it is. What's this? C.W. McCall got a convoy going here or what? Holy cow, I've never seen this many semis in a row along here. Finally? Yeah? Finally? Huh? No, one more? Two more? This is a great opportunity to get rear-ended. That did happen to me once. Not on the Spyder, of course, but it was actually on my 66 Beezer. Happened on a Sunday morning. Did a job on the back fender for sure, but I got it fixed, and anybody who looked at it now would never know it had been damaged. It was somebody in my hog chapter had a body shop, and he did some really good work for me. Anyway, I missed out totally on that run to Brushy Mountain and the Devil's Triangle. I left the house early with every intention of going, but I was getting ready to top off my gas tank, and I was reaching for my credit card to fill the tank. Lo and behold, no credit card. So I looked all through my wallet, looked through my trifold, looked through my pockets. It was not to be found. And seeing that my other credit card had been hijacked about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't gotten the new one in the mail yet, I was at a point where I had no credit card at all. That's not a good way to set out on a trip. I don't like to do that anyway. So I tucked my tail between my legs and rode my Spyder back home. And first thing I did was I called the restaurant. They had the card. How I managed to get out of there without it, I am still mystified by. I did have an extra martini, but of course that didn't have anything to do with it. It wouldn't, right? Nah, heck no. We were having a good time with my dog Zoe's godparents. They look after her sometimes when we go out of town. And they do a wonderful job. And they even said one time, we would pay you to bring Zoe over for a visit. They really love her. That's kind of a nice situation to have. But anyway, so in order to make it come out even for me, at least give me a moral victory, we take them out to a restaurant. And so we had a great time. Good meal was had by all. I kind of cleaned my plate and they didn't, which says something about me, I guess. Hey, this place on the left here, I hear they serve a fantastic country breakfast. Never tried it, but people say if you want to get a belly stuffer of breakfast time food, that's the place to go. It's always that way with these little hole-in-the-wall restaurants. So a long story short, this little run I'm doing right now is kind of the makeup for the run I couldn't do with the club. And it's a poor substitute because I was like really looking forward to doing that run with the club, to do the Brushy Mountain Prison and also to do the Devil's Triangle. Would have been a great day. I saw bikes starting to arrive back in the village. Oh, it was probably sometime between 2:30 and 3 in the afternoon. when I went out to run an errand. I couldn't really tell if they had big grins on their faces, but believe me, I certainly would have if I had gone on the run. That was going to be fun. Now, I've seen the prison before, and I've taken pictures. I can show you one right here just to give you an idea what the place looks like. Yeah, I know. I guess you could say it looks pretty industrial, pretty ordinary. But boy, when you walk around on the inside of the place, it's pretty sparse. And you've heard of the expression putting somebody in the hole. And they had that portion of the prison open so you could go down and actually see what it looked like for the prisoners that were sent down to spend time in that place. And believe me, it looked pretty awful. If you want to break down a person's spirit, I guess that's a pretty good way to do it. You see a little bit of that in some of the movies that are out today where, like, Andy Dufresne gets sent to the hole for a week or a couple of weeks, I guess, or at one point a month, and then followed by another month, and can understand how somebody with so little connection with the outside world, even to the point of there being any light, how it would certainly break your spirit. Well, these places, just imagine not only what they looked like, imagine what they must have smelled like after a few days. Oh well, on to better topics. There was a lot of artwork in the prison, and some of the prisoners had done some sensational drawings and paintings, and they were on display in the chow hall. I guess that's a part of the human spirit that doesn't necessarily die, even in those terrible circumstances. I guess artwork like this can show how men seek to connect or perhaps reconnect with reality. Those are some fantastic images, and they were in several places in the prison. They weren't budding artists, they were artists. They did wonderful work. It's amazing in such a terrible place that wonderful things like that could be created. Now, the prison was reformed over the years from its horrible beginnings back at the end of the 19th century. And essentially, for a good part of its existence, it was, for all practical purposes, a forced labor camp. And men were forced to work in mines. And well, there was no such thing as OSHA, so there wasn't really much in the way of safety equipment, or if a prisoner died on the job, I guess it really didn't matter to anybody. Value of human life was reduced to a degree that seems almost incredible to most rational human beings. I don't know how many people that went on that ride were seeing the prison for the first time, and I don't know even if that's where they stopped for lunch, because there was a cafeteria where they make a pretty good burger. But I think there was another stop farther along on the ride on the Devil's Triangle where there's a pretty good barbecue place, and my gut tells me that that's probably where the people would have wanted to stop. There is, of course, a gift shop at the prison, and I picked up a shot glass last time I was there, and I thought it had, I guess I didn't look very carefully, I thought it had something that would identify it as being from the prison, but actually all it had on it was 1896. Now, to me, I know exactly what that means, because that's when the prison was opened. But to anybody else, it's just a date in history. What does that mean? Who knows? Who cares? Well, It was special to me, and the shot glass was made out of real heavy, thick glass. So it'll probably be around for a while if I don't drop it and break it on the tile floor. I found out when I started putting this video together that I didn't have any soundtrack. I had plugged my microphone into my Drift Ghost X, which has been a very nice little camera for me. And for whatever reason, the soundtrack just wasn't there. Whether it was a problem with the connection, that I maybe had dislodged the speaker from the camera, or what. So not having that, you don't get wind noise, which is a good thing. But you also don't get engine sound. You don't get the engine revving up and shifting gears and all that kind of thing that kind of makes a video interesting to watch. The 1330 three-cylinder inline Can-Am engine makes a very unique sound. Now I thought I wanted to have the V-twin because I always like the loping sound of a V-twin. And the 1330, the inline 3, makes an extremely unique sound. I haven't gone for aftermarket exhaust because I tend to like to keep it rather quiet. I think I've talked on other videos about the pluses and minuses of having a loud report coming out of the exhaust pipe on your machine. But by and large, I think I would just as soon not have it. So we're sailing along, beautiful day, getting ready for the rainy day tomorrow, which is going to be great for the new flowering plants I put in yesterday, and that'll help to get them established and looking good. But anyway, it's been nice having you along with me. I enjoy your feedback always. I appreciate your thumbs up. Thumbs down, do it if you think that's what you need to do. Gotta be honest. But I'm going to sign off for now. Speedster Johnny out.